Hi there, welcome to my site, and welcome to this video tutorial. What I'm going to do is continue on with some of the restoration information. I'm going to use curves, and I'm going to use the channel mixer to make this picture just a bit better to look at. Now luckily this shot doesn't have an awful lot of scratches and marks and tears and bends and folds and dots and spots on it. Certainly around here, all around the edges, it's stained. But that's easy to get rid of. I just used a white brush on the background and I got rid of it. But what I'm going to do is show you how to get the rest of this so you can actually see something. I don't like this sepia color. If you like it, you can do it later after we add some contrast in. And you can do it with the photo filter adjustment layer. Okay? So what I'm going to do is first just turn this into a black and white. Now when I scanned this photo, I scanned this as an RGB, despite the fact that it was this sepia black and white print. The reason I did that is because now, because it's an RGB, I have access to the channels. I have access to the red, the green, and the blue channel. And you find that in the channels palette. Now mine lives with my layers, yours may not. You'd find it under Window. So there's the RGB, the composite. Here's the red channel. Not nice to look at, is it? There's the green. It's a bit better, but still not very nice. There's the blue. It's a better one, but it's still not that great. So of the three, the blue is the best. So when you go to the channel mixer, you decide how much red do you want, how much green, and how much blue. Now that's the way to do it. I don't know where I learned that. I learned that from someone, and I don't know where. I'd like to give that person credit, but that's, I can't, because I don't know who it was. So let's go back here to the layers. We'll choose ourselves a channel mixer. Bring it up. Now, we've got 100% red. There, 100% red. That's not very good, is it? So let's change that to, say, 20. Now you want all three of these to add up, the red, the green, and the blue, to add up to be 100. So there's 20, 20, and 60 is the last one. Now it's kind of flat. So let's back up. Let's go to 10, 10, and 80. Still kind of crappy. Well, that's not a good term to describe a photograph. How about 5, 5, and 90? Better. Why don't we just go for the gusto? Blue is the best by a long shot. Okay, let's just say okay. There's our channel mixer. Off, on. So it's a better thing to look at now. And the other interesting thing is the histogram. There's the histogram of the original shot. When we added this channel mixer in, what we did was we took away some of the lightness, we added some midtones, and we actually added some darkness to the shadow area. Darkness, we add darkness. That's a funny thing to say. We added some shadow area, okay? Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go and get ourselves a curves dialog box. That's right here. Do you see that? Yeah, I guess you do. Now I'm going to just move this off to the side, make the curves dialog, and bring it in. Now, if you've seen the other video I have on curves, you know everything below the line is darker, everything above the line is lighter. You put points on here, you can move the points around, you can pull it down, you can pull it up, you can do all kinds of goofy things with it. If you want to reset and get back to where you started, you press the Alt key and your cancel button turns into a reset key. Really cool. Hit it. Now we're back. Typically on a photograph like this, I'm going to start right there and right there. So what I want to do is add a bit of lightness. Just going to move it up just a titch. And a titch isn't very far. It's about 3/4 of one of these little squares. And I'm going to add some darkness to the dark areas. Down about 1 square. Maybe a bit farther. Okay, how does it look now? That looks much better, doesn't it? Maybe a bit too much darkness. I don't know. Take it up there. Okay. So I'm going to take the original. That's the original. There's our channel mixer. There's our curves. It's a big change to make with just a couple little adjustments. And I didn't even have to do an awful lot of tablet work to do it. Now to continue on with this, what I would suggest you do is first get rid of all the staining around in here. And I did that. It took me about 45 minutes to get around this whole thing. And when you've got a 10-minute video on YouTube, I can't get around that. I have to do it 4 different videos to do it. And I don't think you'd want to sit here and watch me do that. So that's what I did. And I can also do some modifications in the background here. And why don't we just do a bit of that? Because this is a really neat technique. If you've got a tablet especially, it's an incredible technique for modifying the darkness and lightness of local areas. It's called local control. So we're going to do that. We're going to go back to our layers palette, and we're going to add one more layer in here. It's going to be a soft light layer. Now I'm just going to get that layer from the layer menu up here. Layer, new, layer, soft light, right there. And I'm going to fill it with 50% gray. And you're not going to see any change at all. And there's the layer. Now, you hit the D key on your keyboard to get your default black and white. You want black as the foreground color, and you want your brush. Now I'm using a Wacom tablet, of course, and I've got my brush set. To change with opacity. So the harder I press, the darker it gets. Now let's just dock that back up where it belongs. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to paint in very lightly areas that I want to be a bit darker or lighter. There we go. Oops. That's too much, so I'm just going to lighten it up a bit. So I'm just going to add some darkness to this background. Just come around the subjects, across the floor just a little bit. Up there. See a chair back there. See, the contrast is what makes it so you can actually see the image. If you don't have contrast, it's just flat and it's ugly. I'm going to darken up that tablecloth, down the pants a bit. Just a very quick thing. Now this young gal, she's kind of lost here, and we'll do something with her too. But I don't have much time left either. There's number one son, I guess, and dad. And this young guy, his face is getting lost too. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in. And I'm going to lower my brush size way down. And I'm actually going to paint in. I mean, you don't have to have a perfect eye. What you have to do is have just a small representation of it. And there's the young girl with her eyes that are missing. And just a bit of a mouth. Okay, now let's go back out again. So that's a bit better. I mean, if I was going to do this properly, I would be spending a lot of time with it. But I don't have the time to do that, so I'm just going to fiddle around a little bit here. So that's how you use a soft light layer. Now I'm going to take it off. I'm going to turn it off. Original, soft light. You see, it makes a big difference. And you can add in some darkness, or if I needed to, I could take some of the darkness away. Darken up the shoes a bit. I guess these are all working people. There we go. So that's how you use a channel mixer, a curves, and a soft light layer to really tune up this photograph. And I am going to turn them all off and turn them all on again so you can see the difference. That was before, after. Now, it's not a masterpiece yet, but in 8 minutes and 50 seconds, almost 9 minutes, we've come a long way with this photograph. And we could actually work on this, but as I said, it would take way too long. So I hope you've learned something from this one. This is fun to do. It makes you feel good to be able to restore something like this, because it's a valuable print, and it deserves our respect and our best efforts if we're going to do something with it. So I hope you've learned something. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you've got some cool old prints like this, just drag them out, scan them as RGB, and go to work on it. You can actually use that RGB technique anywhere you're using for creating a black and white, even if you have CS3. So take care. Thanks for watching. I appreciate your time. And come visit my site sometime, www.the-graphics-tablet.com. I'd love to see you there. Take care. Bye now.